I don't go out shopping in person too often, just for the fact I sit at home like a loser playing Smash, head online, find what I want to buy, then have a kind man that actually has his life together deliver it me straight to my door. Not to mention you can have 6 tabs open, practically being in multiple stores at once and buy things super quickly. It's definitely a lot easier. But don't get me wrong, I do like walking around shopping centres every now and again, doing a bit of window shopping, looking around clothing stores, finding an item of clothing that I like, seeing the price, and then leaving immediately. And one thing you don't get from online shopping is the experience. Physically walking around stores and seeing products in person or looking at storefronts is super cool and a lot more interactive. And whenever I do go shopping, there is always one specific store that stands out to me. The Apple Store. I mean, realistically, how could you miss it? Compared to other stores, it's a giant white cube with an Apple logo stuck on the front of it. But it somehow always manages to entice me in. Now, it's universally known that there are only 3 reasons that people go into the Apple Store. 1, to buy an Apple product. 2, to repair an Apple product. Or 3, to go in and play around with the funny tech for absolutely no reason or any intention of buying anything. And it's usually the 3rd. Just walking into the Apple Store is a whole experience in itself. Now, I get Apple's whole theme is like perfect and pristine, but everything is white. White floors, white walls, white screens. It's blindingly bright. Walking into the Apple Store is like opening Discord light mode at 4 AM. It's like that scene in Harry Potter where Harry and Dumbledore meet in Limbo. They weren't in Limbo, they were actually in the Apple Store the whole time. Sure, it looks rad, but it's borderline dystopian. Not to mention the staff, all identically stood there in blue t-shirts like clones with an Apple logo in the middle of their chest, like some corporate Tony Stark. And that weird thing around their neck that I can only assume is a digital dog tag that tracks all their vitals, screen time, every action they perform, and how often they play Angry Birds. All of them just walking around the store with iPads in their hands like the Abstergo staff in Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
You might have noticed that security seems a little light around here.
One more time.
And the Genius Bar. Now sadly, despite being called a bar, there is no alcohol. The Genius Bar is a help desk of sorts, and it's actually pretty useful if you have quick questions or need help. And no offence if you're an Apple Store employee, but the word genius is a little bit over the top. Geniuses are people like Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, or Young Thug. They are all geniuses, not a guy in an Apple t-shirt that can fix my emails by switching my iPhone on and off and show me how to download Smack That by Akon on Apple Music. Now from a marketing perspective, Apple have their store design down to a T. All the products laid out perfectly in lines on the table, in sections. It's like they're begging you to come over and just play with them. I mean, formally use and review them. Oh, come on, let's be real. Every human that's ever stepped foot into the Apple Store has fucked around with every product in there like it's a playground. It's human instinct. We've all taken photos of ourselves on the iPad with stupid filters on photo booth. Now, there's 2 types of people in this scenario. Those that either set it as the home lock screen, the braver option, on display for everyone, or those that save the photo to the camera roll, wondering if it'll stay on the iPad storage for years to come, like a time capsule, thinking they can return to the store 10 years later after 17 iOS versions have come out, and the image will still be on that iPad, like Chris, the staff member at the Apple Store, has gone, oh no, we can't delete that image because David took that back in 2014. But why is it all so fun? I literally have an iPad at home, but when it's right there in the Apple Store in front of me, there's another layer of fun to it. I can't help it. It's like when monkeys see themselves in the mirror. Or running over to the iMacs, firstly trying to work out how macOS works, because that shit's like a NASA launch interface, then loading up Safari and putting on a funny YouTube video like a deviant. Or pulling up your own social media profile in the hopes that random strangers will give you a pity follow. Now, I would say the same about the iPhones, and sure, it's cool seeing the newest model in the store, but you can barely lift them off the table to use them because they're attached to those metal wires, and I'm too worried that even lifting them an inch will set some huge alarm off, and the entire store will go into lockdown, and the staff will shoot into action mode and vaporize me. And if you're a real prankster, here's another fun thing I like to do whenever I'm in the Apple Store. So if you're on an iPhone, there's a phenomenal feature called AirDrop, which allows you to wirelessly transfer an image to another iPhone user, and believe it or not, most people have this feature enabled without even knowing. So being in the Apple Store with an iPhone that has AirDrop, around a bunch of other people with an iPhone that also have AirDrop, you bask in the glories, you pull up an image, the weirder the better. Open the AirDrop menu and send it to every single name you see on the list, whilst you sit back and watch the confusion on everyone's face like some sort of fucked up magic trick. Now in recent years, you of course have the newer products like the Apple Watch, AirTags, or of course Apple AirPods and Apple headphones. Well, I recently went into the Apple Store and they had a big headphone display. I was casually looking around when a staff member came over and asked me if I wanted to try the headphones out. Now this question stumped me. Like, sure, I was curious to try them, but not exactly while an Apple employee would be staring me dead in the eyes as music played need to gauge my opinion. But of course, I said yes, as to not be rude, and quickly slipped them on. Now at this point, it made no difference what audio was coming out of those earphones. It could have quite literally been a bass-boosted fart compilation on full blast, and I would have still nodded my head like I was jamming out, and claimed it was the best audio quality on the best device I've ever listened to. Hell, I would have shook his hand and complimented his music taste as to not add any social awkwardness to the situation as I swiftly left the store. And how could we forget the Apple Pencil? A relatively new addition to the Apple arsenal, but whenever you see these babies on display, your inner Monet comes out. No matter how artistic or unartistic you are, you're compelled to go over to an iPad and express yourself. I'd stand there for hours working away, brush strokes, pencil shading, smudging, until voila, a piece to behold, before a staff member comes over and asks me to leave the store because I'm a grown man playing on all of the devices. And with all of that said, goodbye!